we gon' run it. Hit the field, blast off, watch them all fall. This is AFC North talk. Got me hype, it's about to be a touchdown. Got the Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, and the Browns. Are you listening? It's time to get it hype. Tune in when the season poppin'. Yeah, we going live. Hey, knock 'em out. Ay, first down, going hard. Yes, indeed. AFC North talk. Let's go. Hey, AFC North talk.
Welcome to another edition of AFC North Talk. We here. By the way, happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. Not today, obviously, but hopefully you enjoy a great day with your family, by yourself, with whoever you want to be. Even yourself, your friends, whatever. Enjoy your time. It's the time to get things, whatever you're going through, don't worry about it. Everything, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So happy Thanksgiving from the AFC North Talk to y'all. Let's get this started. I think this is one of the best weekends for the AFC North, meaning there's really good games across the board. We're going to start with the Browns-Broncos game. This is a game that is very interesting. Not only, you might say, Sonny, what does it matter? Well, the Broncos are fighting for a playoff berth. Cinci, obviously, if the Broncos lose a game, right, now Cinci is striking distance from the Broncos and they play each other. So if they lose this game, meaning the Broncos, and then Cincinnati beats the Steelers, now that Cincy Broncos game, whoever wins goes on top of the other, right? So this is a very critical game in the case of the Cincinnati Bengals. In the case of the Browns, they're trying to build momentum, right? Now, my question here, like always, is what Browns team shows up? Because this is the biggest question for me in the Browns this year is what team shows up. There's the weeks that the defense is balling. I'm like, damn, this Browns defense is back. What would I thought, right? Pressure is there, sacks are there, the secondary is sticky to the receivers, or then we have on the offensive side, right? That is more of a question mark. Is Jameis Winston throwing turnovers? Is he gonna be more, center? I would say. And by the way, I have fun watching the interview, Jared. I send it through the internal chat interview about Jameis Winston hating mashed potatoes. But I knew Jared was not going to like it, so I tag him up.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm over it, bro. I'm just over all of it. I can't wait for this whole thing to be done. There's gonna be a game where he throws 5 picks, and Browns fans are gonna hate him just as much as I do. It's gonna be a good time. So I'm hoping for that day soon. Hoping for that day. So again, nothing against like Jameis Winston as like a person. I don't know him, but oh my God, bro, I'm over it. Over it.
This is against a good defense. Do you think this is the week, Jerry? Do you think this is the week where Jameis Winston will become Mr. Pick 30 for 30 guy?
It feels like it's coming, right? Like he only had one last week, and even then it was like at the very end of the game, and it didn't end up costing the Browns the week before. I don't think he had an interception at all against New Orleans. So like he's been relatively clean, and even against like Baltimore earlier in the year, like there was some that he definitely got away with it. Just the Ravens dropped him. So it feels like eventually it's going to come. The thing that Cleveland has to account for is that the Broncos are going to send heat no matter what look they're in. If they're in man, if they're in zone, they'll send some dialed up pressures and extra pass rushers regardless of what they're in. So that's something that they have to account for, and that the offensive line will have to pick up, and receivers are going to have to get open underneath. And that's going to be the thing where, okay, is Ken Dorsey and Kevin Stefanski going to be able to draw up plays where James can get rid of the ball quickly and avoid the pass rush? He didn't have to really do that too much against Pittsburgh because they didn't really send a lot of pressure. And even when they did, they didn't get home very often. They only had 1 sack against Jameis. So it's going to be a little bit different against Denver, where that's a team that will send pressure. That's a team that will get theirs. And you got to be able to account for that as an offense and try to adjust. So going up, the Broncos are also 3rd in the league in EPA per play defensively. They've been very good this year on that side of the ball. And that's something that Cleveland's going to have to account for. Obviously, you got PS2 in the secondary, my opinion, the best cornerback in football. So there's a lot of things that the Browns offense is going to have to account for that they, in terms of looks that they didn't have to account for against Pittsburgh, just because schematically the Broncos do different things than the Steelers. But yeah, I expect Denver to send the heat and try to force Jameis into making some mistakes.
By the way, this is a Monday night game. I keep forgetting that it's a prime time game, Monday Night Football. Temperature-wise for Monday, looks clear sky. It's probably gonna be cold because it's gonna be at night in Denver, so it's not gonna be warm. But yeah, I mean, weather should not play a factor. I was checking weather because I forgot to check weather last time that the Browns were playing, and I remember playing in Denver. So I heard, by the way, there's a blizzard going to the Bills game. I heard that's gonna be like a
Yeah, it looks like there's yeah, I
Might be
saw
Canada.
the meteorologist. It's like 6 to 12 inches between now and Monday morning. I don't know how active it's going to be during the game, but yeah, I mean, I'll happily take another primetime snow game. That'll be fun.
Ace. What do you think of this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes down to it, I kind of still feel similar to how I did about the Browns last week, right? Like, I think that it did take, some weather and some moxie from that team to pull out the win and the upset over Pittsburgh. They're going to need that in this one. And with this one being in Denver, as you guys said, unless it's a weather thing, I think that Denver is going to cruise to a win on this one. The Browns are 1-4 on the road in terms of their road record. It's a really good defense that they're going against. You guys kind of talked about it. Is this going to be the game that Jameis Winston is going to turn into the old Jameis Winston? He's been effectively dodging that for the last couple of weeks. And when I'm saying that, I'm talking about the multi-interception games, right? Where he's been more of a cause for, a downhill swing more so than being the steady guy that he's been to kind of keep them in these games. You know that it's eventually going to happen. So I think that this could potentially be it. Right now, Denver is ranked 10th in DVOA overall as a team. Cleveland is 31st. The EPA per play for Cleveland with the splits are they're 30th on the road, which makes sense because they're 1-4. And then you got Denver that's 9th in the NFL in terms of that at home. They are 3-2 at home, but the pass defense, you kind of brought up how Patrick Surtain is the best corner in the NFL. You're going to have to see that. Jerry Jeudy revenge game, maybe. Possibly. Be interesting to see like how that plays out. Run defense, they're also really good. When it comes to that, 5th in the league is Denver. When it comes to that, Cleveland surprisingly is ranked last in the NFL by splits. When it comes to that, red zone defense for Cleveland is something that you can believe in, though. This is still a good Cleveland defense. We'll have to see if they're going to get up for this game. Obviously, Myles Garrett just made the comments last game, so you cannot follow that game and that performance up with nothing. So I think that this is still probably a big game for Myles Garrett. Then you also got to talk about the mile-high conditions. That's always a factor when you're playing in Denver. Bo Nix, I think the jury's still out on him, but you could probably say he's been one of the most reliable rookies outside of Jaden Daniels.
Can't say that on Twitter. Got to be careful. If you don't slurp Bo, the Broncos fans will come for you, Ace. So just beware. Just be careful.
Yeah, he's been. I mean, Caleb Williams hasn't played well, so it's been kind of easy for somebody else to step up and be that number 2. He's not on the trajectory of Jaden Daniels, right? So let's be clear that they pretty much have survived this. They pretty much have managed this situation. He hasn't been playing like super amazing. But he hasn't been playing bad either. He's kind of been a little up and down. This will be a real test for him, right? I think that this is a situation going against a Browns defense as a rookie. I think we'll kind of understand whether or not he's actually good or if he's just playing really bad football teams and Denver is just doing their thing and the defense is just suffocating these other teams. So we'll see. I'm taking Denver in this one, though, bro. The Browns – I think that they're pretty much on the edge, and this is going to be this is Sparta moment where the Denver Broncos just kick them off of the cliff.
Denver minus 5.5. So you take them with the line?
With the 5 points, yeah, I'm taking Denver with the points, yeah, for sure. I think in this one, especially if you're talking about a Jameis Winston 2 turnover game, yeah, I'm going to take them with the points.
Jared, you took Denver or Cleveland? I can't remember.
I'll probably, just to keep the Bo stuff alive, I'll probably take Cleveland just for fun and have people get irritated at me.
I was expecting that from you and Q because, Q on Bo Nix and you on Bo Nix have been very strong. By the way,
he's played well over the last few weeks. It's just that
the odds are not that far between Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, he's over the past 3 weeks. He's played well.
Wait, you're talking about for offensive rookie of the year?
Yeah.
What are the odds?
I think
So-
he's like plus 150 now or something crazy. Like he's getting
Depending
close.
where you're getting, but right now this one is plus 100, and then Jaden Daniels is minus 175. They're close. This is not. It used to be Jaden Daniels going away. He was here.
Yeah. Shout out Cliff Kingsbury. All right. All my agendas weren't wrong. Okay. like Cliff Kingsbury agenda, very strong. Look what he doing to Jaden Daniels. And by the way, once you get him up out of there, Jaden Daniels will be much better, just like every other quarterback who's ever had Cliff Kingsbury as offense coordinator. I feel so bad for Caleb Williams, by the way. 2 terrorists back to back. Right?
You don't think Thomas Brown's going to save the day in Chicago?
Well, what? Well, no, because he had Cliff Kingsbury his last year at USC, not as offensive coordinator, but special offensive analysis. Then Shane Waldron, and it's like, hey, bro, I bet he looking at Tim Brown or whatever his name is, like, hey, bro, hey, we here. It don't take much to be good with me.
Right. I'll say this though, like about Bo, like, yeah, obviously, yeah, I was driving the train of like, yeah, I don't think he's going to be very good. And I can acknowledge he's playing like really well over the past 3 weeks, but Broncos fans want to come at you and say, oh, you were wrong about everything. He's going to be great. You were right. 11 games. Like, yeah, bro. But also like, you could look at it the other way and say, yeah, it's only 11 games. Like I remember everybody crowned Mac Jones after a rookie year. That was pretty solid too. And now he's a backup quarterback. Like,
hey man, Daniel Jones had 24 touchdowns, 12 interceptions.
You did. And
Tebow,
that was his absolute peak.
This is the crowd of the Tim Tebow troopers, guys. So you gotta watch your expectations there.
And it's not just like people like me. Like it's, you know, they're coming for like Nate Tice and Robert Mays and like all of like the smart football people that are like, yeah, you know, he's doing okay, but you know, the Broncos are also doing a lot of it. Like they have the most designed rollouts in the league. They're top 5 in screen passes. They are amongst the top in the NFL in play action. Like, yeah, they're dressing some stuff up to help him out, which is good. You should do that for a rookie quarterback. But when you acknowledge that, oh, Broncos fans want to be like, oh, you're a terrorist. You hate Bo Nix. I'm like, yeah, I didn't think Bo was going to be good. And he's, you know, playing better than I expected. But that doesn't all of a sudden make him a superstar for years to come. Like, let's just be normal for about 5 minutes, Denver fans. That's all we ask. That being said, I'm picking the Browns.
For me, if the D-line of the Browns can come and ball out and put pressure on Bo, the Browns can win. I'm not saying
I hope Myles Garrett has 5 sacks. You know what? I don't care. my agenda right now for like the Bo Nix stuff is too strong to care about the Browns winning another game.
It's generational. He is rooting for the Browns just to end this.
I'm thinking this hate might be more than the Baltimore hate, Jared. I don't know.
Oh no! Let's not go that far. Come on, now. Like no. If the Browns are 8-3, I wouldn't be doing that. But the Browns, you know, they're 3-8. I can, a win isn't gonna break me if the Browns win. If they were in the playoff race with the Steelers, then yeah, obviously I'd need the Broncos to win. But right now, I just need Broncos fans to shut the hell up, and I hope that Bo Nix gets sacked a lot.
And that is the path here for the Broncos to win. They need to get to Bo Nix, right? They need to have him and harass him to make the mistake. If he has a clean pocket, and again, this is something with the Browns, right? The consistency on the pressure and throughout actually the defense. If they don't come and dominate the D-line of the Browns dominate, then the Broncos win. That's I think if you want to pinpoint to a place, the Broncos defense is going to be good against their offense, right? So obviously, Jameis Winston here throwing 5 turnovers, 5 picks or whatever, then whatever. It doesn't matter what the defense. But assuming Jameis Winston has the games that he has had so far, which has been okay, right? Nothing crazy, nothing horrific. And then if the Browns can put pressure, constant pressure on Bo, I think the Browns win. I'm gonna pick up. I'm gonna go with Denver because it's in Denver. Denver by 3.
Is it in Denver?
It's in Denver.
Cool. I'm not going to change my pick. I was just curious.
You made it sound like okay.
No. You stood tall on all of that.
We'll stand tall on business, and if I'm right, I'll clip it. If not, then I'll pretend it didn't happen. Like, you know, a normal. Yeah, just like everybody, you know.
Hey man, you know that's the business. But I do think. I am happy that Jameis did throw that interception versus Pittsburgh because I was staring right in the face. I'm like, hey, man, has he had 2 good games together?
Mm-hmm.
What is Snow without any interceptions? threw an interception. So I'm like, all right, that resets the counter, right? We get the he turned the ball over twice in that fourth quarter. That resets the counter. That opens it up for him to have a good game against Denver. Will he? Probably not. Denver's secondary is really good, right? And I think I have a decent read on Jameis. We'll see if I'm right about this. The problem with Jameis, I feel like, is he throws footballs that he's not qualified to throw. Not because those are like necessarily bad decisions. If Josh Allen were throwing that, if Joe Burrow were throwing that, it would probably be a great throw because they can consistently be accurate. Jameis can't do that, which means how good your DBs are really does matter, because there's going to be a margin of error for these interceptions to happen. And if you have guys who can capitalize and catch those interceptions at a high rate, then you're probably going to have a good day against Jameis Winston, and those turnovers are going to start to snowball. I do think that the Denver Broncos do have that kind of secondary this week, and the Browns just haven't done a great job. Well, they did a good job last week. I'll give them that with all the play action stuff and all the misdirection. But I think sometimes Arthur Smith can be a bit more predictable than like Sean Payton can be.
You think? You think that Arthur Smith was predictable in that game, Q?
It's a little
crazy,
right? But the Browns tend to struggle with that. They also you saw this in the Pittsburgh game. They struggle like hell with the delayed handoff, right? And I think they're going to go to that a lot. End arounds, kind of move the ball around, try to throw the ball deep, really get Greg Newsome moving left to right, which has been a big issue for him, and be able to kind of create offense here. I think this is going to be a bit of a wacky game, and I'm going to call it a push here, winner by a field goal, and I have no trust in any of these kickers to win this game. Might be a tie.
Oh, that would be fun. I think that would be great. I don't know how that helps. I don't know. Would that
Jared, no, I got the perfect scenario for you, Jared. It's a tie, but in overtime, both quarterbacks throw multiple interceptions.
That would be great.
Yeah, because then you can hear less from Jameis, and then you can also hear less about Bo Nix.
That'd be good.
That's what you're praying for, right? Like
each quarterback throws a pair of picks in overtime. That would be
like bad ones too, right? Like It's like, where was he throwing that one? Like you got John. Like no, it's not Troy Aikman questioning the interception. It's it's Joe Buck.
It's Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Yeah, Aikman's like, I don't know where the hell that was going, Joe.
Partner, I just can't see what he saw on that play. Yeah, Joe.
I don't know what he was looking at there, Joe, but that was bad.
By the way, one thing I could notice without Deshaun Watson in there is the hilarious difference in temperament from play-by-play guys. I always say this. Look, man, you know that they don't like that quarterback or something went wrong in that meeting if you watching the 1 o'clock on CBS feed and they start bringing out that all 22. Like, that ain't supposed to happen on a 1 o'clock on Sunday game. But when Deshaun was out there, it was like, look what he's missing, y'all. Like,
whenever Charles Davis breaks up the tape in the middle of the first quarter, you're like, oh,
brother, one time it was Adam Archuleta breaking it down. I'm like, how is this happening? I'm like, did he play? Wait, it was like, who's the punter that does the play-by-play for CBS? Is it
a punter?
Yeah, there's definitely a punter. Yeah, there's a punter. Somebody in chat knows. Y'all let me know. But there's a punter that does play-by-play. And I remember being like, dog, the punter's out here breaking down film on you on live TV, and he's right.
I have no idea. I know that Steve Tasker, he was like a special teams guy. He still does like commentary stuff.
CBS play-by-play.
Yeah, we just got to go through all the CBS teams to figure out who it is. Now, if there were to be a tie, I think that would actually hurt the Bengals because like a tie would, benefit Denver.
The Bengals essentially for their sake, they need the Broncos.
James Feely.
He's a kicker.
Feely, yeah, he's a kicker. He used to be a kicker.
Okay, good shout. You're right.
But anyway, so what I was gonna say? Oh, so the Bengals need the Broncos to lose a game. Doesn't matter what. And if the Broncos lose a game and then they lose to the Bengals, and obviously the Bengals don't lose anymore, the Bengals will take the 7th seed over the Broncos.
The Bengals can afford one more loss if the Broncos can lose 2, and one of the Broncos' losses would be to Cincinnati.
The Dolphins are coming. Be careful with those Dolphins.
That's what I was going to say.
I don't care about the Dolphins. I'm not worried about the Dolphins.
Don't sleep on the Dolphins, bro.
Do they play?
They play in 19-degree weather tomorrow. I'm fine. I'm good on the Dolphins.
Would you say that you're not losing sleep over the Miami Dolphins?
I'm not gonna be. I don't think that Lou.
He's not gonna keep you up at night.
Lou hasn't earned the right to not lose sleep though. Like Lou needs to be staring at the ceiling, figuring out how to fix the defense. So Lou's already awake, but I think that he'll be able to sleep well after.
The biggest problem.
I'll talk about the Steelers. Like, are you not worried about playing them in the first round?
If the Steelers were to play the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Not in Pittsburgh.
If it's in Pittsburgh, I'd feel a lot better, which obviously that would be the case because they're not going to win the AFC East. I wouldn't love it per se just because – actually, you know what? No, I shouldn't say that because they played the Dolphins 2 years ago in Miami, only allowed 16 points with a worse defense and a worse quarterback. So I'd feel okay about it.
So this is the Miami –
they have a
so
better record.
They go into the Packers. They're going to the
Just
Packers.
tell JPJ, don't use them hands that week, dog.
Yeah,
Like,
don't be pulling too much on. Yeah, don't be pulling too much on Tyreek.
Yeah. So they're playing the Packers in Green Bay. That's a hard one for them because it's gonna be cold. But then is the Jets at Miami. Then they play at the Texans. Then they play 49ers at the Miami, and then they play the Browns in Cleveland.
I tell you what, Texans, 49ers, Browns, they're going to lose at least two of those.
Okay.
I think they'll lose to Houston, and I think they'll lose to Cleveland in Cleveland. Just
that's a smattering of disappointing teams right there. Texans, 49ers. Bro, you walked into the season like it's gonna be a hell run. And it's like all these teams have been so far under expectations.
I don't know.
I think Purdy's going to be fine because I think Purdy's expected to play on Sunday night, so I think that he'll be playing.
The hardest
if
one
Purdy does play, it still has been something where the 49ers are not as difficult to beat.
They had the Jets twice. Yeah,
the Jets are going 2-0. Let's just the Jets are trash.
The biggest one is the biggest one will be this week, right? Can they beat the Packers?
We need the Packers to win.
Right, like if they beat the Packers, then you're like, now you have to take Miami seriously. Okay,
look, man, these dudes is singing Rod Rave during games right now. Them boys is on.
What? That's how Miami get down.
Miami, all of them like 2-0.
Miami out here singing Rod Wave
right now.
What is going on in their lives? They're too rich to sing Rod Wave. Like, what is going on? You know how sad that music is? Like.
Yeah.
What is Rod Wave for the worry of sounding incredibly white right now?
I mean, but it's like trap gospel.
Oh, really?
he makes struggle gospel. That's what he makes. He makes struggle trap. Like I was listening to Rod Wave when times were tough. Right? Yeah. My life got better. I stopped listening to Rod Wave. Like,
ever since they started listening to Rod Wave and quoting him on the field, they won 2 games in a row.
They was down bad. Look, with Rod Wave get you to bounce back though. That's the one thing about it.
Another thing for that game though, Jair Alexander not playing, so that's something to pay attention to for Green Bay. Not great. I really want the Packers to win this game.
Packers should win this game for sure.
They should. You know, Jordan Love might have one throw where it's like, he probably shouldn't have thrown that, but he also makes like 3 or 4 a game where it's like, God damn, all right. So I'm a big Jordan Love proponent.
So look at that coverage. What do you think is the fan vote for this game?
I don't know. I feel like we've got a decent presence here, so I'll probably lean like 53-47 Denver. I think the Browns fans will at least try to keep it close.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 57-43 Denver.
64 Denver. 64% Denver.
Oh, well.
64.
Yeah.
Oh, did Steelers fans finally show up? Like,
Well, that tells me, look at this super chat here here we go, pick.
Oh, man.
We will smoke the Bengals. 7-13.
Here's the thing,
Yo, 4 interception.
Hold on. Is this a triple B?
I'm not calling it. I'm sure it's not calling it.
Hey, it took less for the Brown season to be completely ruined by one of these calls.
I
would like to point out that I did not call this whatsoever. So I don't know.
The flag. This is like when the refs meet to argue intentional grounding, and it's like, oh, flag, there it is.
I'll throw the flag on that one. I do not think that's going to happen.
That happened on
Booty
week
beatdown, personal foul, super chat, Pittsburgh. Punishment to be determined later.
Look, that
This
happened
is
on week
Pittsburgh's first booty beatdown of the season. Well, no, this is Pittsburgh's second booty beatdown of the season. Jared was right on the first one. They still have one remaining.
They lost a timeout though. They lost a
Yeah.
timeout.
We did lose the timeout.
Yeah, Jared is charged to timeout.
I forgot the Browns fans that did it. That he's a listener forever.
Oh man, Professor Chaos.
Professor Chaos did it for the Browns, and after that, the season that was week 2, week 3.
Bro, he hit me in the chat talking about don't blame me for this. I'm like, why'd you even come here knowing you was about to get blamed for this? Because you know what you did. Okay?
I forgot against who they were playing, but it was like
It was Dallas.
It was Dallas. Oh,
It was the first game of the year. Yeah. Set the tone, Jared. Set the tone.
So the fan base can provoke the booty beat.
It took 7 weeks after he sent that booty beat down message for the Browns to get back over 20. I don't know what that man just did to the Steelers. Like, is that the Corvette?
I certainly hope not. Yeah, no, I'm not on the whole
4 interceptions for Joe Burrow, right? Predicting that in a game is crazy because Joe has like 4 interceptions in the last 5 games.
Joe's played incredibly clean football this year. If the Bengals defense helped him out at all, no, I'm saying like Joe has protected the ball well. He's played great football. Like
4 interceptions the whole season.
Yeah, that's crazy. He's played incredibly well. So I'm not calling this. I think that Cincinnati is going to win. I mean, if we're transitioning into
okay.
I was transitioning to the Ravens. I was going to transition to the Ravens because we leave the AFC North showdown for the last.
Then I'll save that for a minute.
I saw the bullishness here for Here We Go Pitt. I wanted to show.
Wow.
I'm not riding that. Don't worry.
Ravens,
I am not riding that rod wave.
Ravens, Eagles.
Wow.
Ravens.
Wow. Hold on. Stop. Stop. So much. So much. Oh my. Yeah, Jared, I thought I was going to heaven how much white just flashed in front of my eyes right there. That was crazy. Like,
You know what? Let's
do you have a kid or something like that?
I do
Jared?
not. No, I do not.
That was some bad shit.
Not.
Right there.
Oh,
Wait, show me your feet and prove to me you don't have New Balances on right now.
Okay.
I am wearing like full Christmas getup. I'm wearing a Polar Express crew neck and Christmas pajama pants. Is that qualifying?
Yeah.
Is that good? All right.
Yeah.
Okay, because the door was open. Let's go Steelers Bengals. I threw out the poll out there. Let's go all in. Jared, I'm gonna throw it to you because you started alluding to what do you think is gonna happen in this game? This is a game that the Bengals obviously coming desperate. I don't know if they're gonna be like the Ravens going for 4th down and almost all the plays. And the Steelers, they're not as desperate, right? Like they obviously want to win AFC North because if the Ravens win and they lose, they're virtually tied with the Steelers having the tiebreaker. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
I said going into last week, like looking at the rest of the schedule, all right, I think they're going to lose to Cleveland, and I think they're going to lose to Cincinnati in the first game. So I'm going to stick to that. Like I think the Bengals are going to win this game, especially just because like what happened the last game was Steelers couldn't generate any pressure. And I wrote about it today just because, like, it was weird the way that they went about it. Like, if you look at the Steelers and how they send pressure, when they're in zone defense, they send extra pass rushers at one of the lowest rates in the NFL. And I would like to see them take a page out of, like, a Todd Bowles or what the Vikings are doing with Brian Flores or what the Broncos are doing. Like, even if you're in, a zone, like if you're in cover 3, cover 4, you can still dial up some extra rushers. And they tend to not do that, which will give Joe Burrow some more time. And the last thing that you want to do is give Joe Burrow more time, especially, which Marchese T. What I feel like it's a weekly thing with T. Ace. Is he playing or not? Like,
he should be playing this week. Yeah.
Okay, because I saw something about him not running up the hill or whatever the hell that is in Bengals media. He's like, all right, what the hell does that mean?
It's like Cincinnati Bengals tradition to determine if T is on the injury report. You got to see whether or not he runs up the hill. Because if he doesn't run up the hill, then it's a chance that he's not playing. But that's how we knew he was going to play. I think in the last game is he ran up the hill.
Okay.
Where is this hill? Is this like under the highway? Like which part of the
No,
practice
it's
facility?
It's near the area that they banned them from filming. It's right where they're legally able to start filming. It's right when they come in, and there's a hill like right there.
Oh,
And
like right near the
runs
street?
up it or he doesn't.
Yeah, like near the intersection.
Yeah. So it's like right
Okay,
when they walk in, it's like a
Okay.
hill like right there, and he goes up the hill, or he doesn't, depending.
Yeah,
on
I was gonna say. Apparently
like-
today he took. Apparently
Hill
today he
tunnel.
took the concrete.
It's like the AEW Hill babyface tunnel.
Yeah. The hill is undefeated though. I will say that the hill is.
I was gonna say because apparently today he took the concrete path. So I don't know what that means, but if it means he's not playing
all day with the sentient being, like this is nuts.
I don't know, but regardless, like obviously Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have done incredible things this year. And Steelers defense, like they haven't been prone to giving up too many like big chunk plays, but it's the little shit that's bit them in the ass. Like if it's 2nd and 7, they give up 9. If it's 2nd and 6, they'll give up 8. If it's 3rd and 5, they'll give up 6. Like it's just little shit like that that's really bit them in the butt. The last game they prevented the Browns from picking up a 3rd down until the last drive of the game, but they also went 4 for 4 on 4th down. So I think that with Cincinnati, yeah, obviously you got to worry about Bird, you got to worry about Chase, and you got to be able to keep up with the scoring. I don't think that this is going to be a necessarily like incredibly low scoring game, but if Cincinnati reaches 24, 27, like you got to be able to keep up with it. The Steelers have showed that they can do that this year, when they did it against Washington, so that's good to know. But if it starts becoming a problem where, all right, midway through the 3rd quarter and the Bengals already have 24, like you can't give up too much more. You're going to be really asking a lot of Russell Wilson and company to, put up 30, 31, 35. So I am wary of what the Bengals can do offensively. Yeah, I'm a big believer of the whole back against the wall thing. They're 4-7. And I'm also, it's very well spoken on the show. I'm a very big proponent of the Bengals don't feel like a 4-8 team to me. Like right now, I think 5-7 makes some sense for the Bengals. So
I think they're going to finish like strong, but not 9-8. Right,
I think
that feels
9
like
and
the
8.
Bengals.
If they finish 9 and 8 and they beat Denver, I think that they can be that 7 seed. But if they lose to Denver, then yeah, their playoff hopes are basically done.
10 wins will make the 7th seed. I still believe that you need that 10th win.
It all depends on what happens with Denver.
Last year, somebody made it with 9, right?
Yeah,
no, the Steelers were the 7 seed. They had 10.
Yeah, you're right.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different this year, just because like there's not as many like we talked about already.
Tiebreakers like for the Bengals too, if they even get to 10-7, because if they get to 10-7, there's probably gonna be like 3.
I think it's only going to be with the Broncos though, because the Jets stink. The Colts aren't going to be doing anything, I don't believe.
Miami, and the Broncos. Those are the two.
If Miami really like keeps this thing going, that would be something to worry about. But I don't think those two have played
How
each
many
other.
of the Bengals losses are AFC teams?
Let's see. They've lost to the Ravens twice. They lost to the Jets. They lost to who else? Have they lost?
No, you guys lost to the Jets. I forgot that.
No. Sorry, the Broncos lost to the Jets. My apologies. My apologies.
I would have definitely did a healthy 30 on that.
I still have Broncos on my mind.
They lost the Chiefs.
The Chiefs, the Patriots, the Ravens twice.
Have a 4-7. I don't know how accurate this is. This is off of StatMuse, but they're saying 4-7 against the AFC.
So all their games haven't been against the AFC. There's no way in hell.
All the loss. Oh, because
they haven't been because we played the Eagles. Yeah, so I don't think that's right.
But they lost to the Chargers. That's 5 losses in the AFC.
Oh,
Chiefs, right? Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have to win. Do they play Denver or Miami? They play them both?
They play Denver. They don't play Miami.
Play Denver. We don't play.
They got to win the head-to-head to get in there, right?
Yeah.
Unless Miami dropped a bunch to the AFC too.
I know that the Dolphins lost to the Bills twice. One of their losses was to the Cardinals. I think they lost to Seattle. Like a lot of their losses came against like NFC West teams.
Ooh, that's not good.
So I think that they have fewer AFC losses, which is not helpful for the Bengals.
Yes.
But yeah, regardless,
they lost to the Colts, the Bills twice. Oh, they lost to the Titans. No, look, Bills, Titans, Colts.
Yep. I have zero recollection of a Colt. Oh yeah, the Colts game. Okay, yes, I do remember that game.
When Tua was out, right?
Yeah, it was.
So
but
they have 4 losses in the AFC.
okay, so comparable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
when it comes to the Steelers, like I worry about if the Bengals can put up points, they're playing like very much like they're already in playoff mode. Like another loss could really eliminate them from playoff contention. So, even especially like the Bengals are also coming off a bye. I know the Steelers kind of had a mini bye there with the Thursday night game, but I'm not taking Joey B lightly. Even with their record, they are still the team that scares me the most in the division. Like that's the team that I'm always worried about the Steelers playing, just because I know what Joe Burrow looks like when he's super duper on, and I know what Jamar Chase looks like when he's super duper on, and when T Higgins can get going. It's going to be a tough outing. So I think that the Bengals win the first matchup, and we'll see how the Steelers bounce back from there. They got Cleveland after that. I think that they'll win then. I mean, I've said this plenty of times already. I think they're going to split the rest of their schedule. The Steelers go 11-6. This is one of their losses that I think they'll take, and I still think that they'll be fine.
Ace.
Yeah, I think that this is the Bengals season right here. It comes down to this game against the Steelers. There's no excuses. You had a bye week to prepare. You're facing a Steelers team coming off of an AFC North divisional matchup. You've got this game at home. So I think coming out of this, like Joe Burrow and these guys have to will themselves to this victory. This is a team that you can't take lightly. I do think that the Steelers are a dangerous matchup for the Bengals. Talk about the edge rushing that they have there. I know Jared mentioned that they didn't get much pressure last week. I do not trust the Bengals' interior offensive line against Cam Hayward at all in this one. When it comes to Amarius Mims versus TJ Watt, I'm okay with that, but it is TJ Watt. He can wreck this game at any moment. So to me, it's going to be, is Orlando Brown Jr. playing? Because since Orlando Brown Jr. has gone down, this Bengals offensive line hasn't been the same. The interior has been exposed at points. Can they try to establish some semblance of the run? I'm not so sure against this defense. I think it's going to be a tough game for them to pull this one out. However, I do think that they're going to be able to get enough out of this one because the season is on the line. We're going to need Jamar Chase. We're going to need T. Higgins. We're going to need Chase Brown. We're going to need all of these guys to step up. And then you're going to have to protect Joe Burrow. That's the main thing here, because if you aren't able to do that against the Steelers, that is how you can end up losing this game to a Steelers team. And you've got to try to contain this offense that they have. Now, George Pickens killed the Bengals the last time that we saw him. He is a guy that you cannot let have an explosive game. And I'm talking about the 3 catches for 100 and plus. It can't be one of those. If he's going to have 100 yards in this one, it's got to be like 6, 7 catches, something like that. Not something where this guy is having like a 20 or 30 yard per reception average. If that happens, things can get ugly for the Bengals, I think, in this one from a defensive standpoint. And we can kind of start to see some of those things that we've saw from the Bengals when it comes to these teams being able to score quickly. They're going to have to try to slow down this run game. And the Bengals, for all that I've talked bad about the Bengals defense, the only thing that they've been able to do is stop the run, which is crazy because everybody expected them not to be able to do that coming into the season with the loss of DJ Reader. However, they have got to limit the explosive plays because George Pickens can have them. You now have Mike Williams over there as well. You've got some injuries in your secondary at the cornerback position when you're talking about the loss of DJ Turner, the loss of Dax Hill. So they're going to have to hold up there on the back end. And that's the part of this that scares me is who is going to be able to slow down George Pickens? That's what my question is for the defense. Offensively, I think that the Bengals can manage. I don't think that that's been an issue where they've struggled. But my question is, can Zach Taylor finally get a feel for this game, especially in those situations? Sonny kind of said it. I don't know if the Bengals are going to go for it on 4th down with the game on the line. I don't know. Like, this can't be the game where you're relying on Evan McPherson over Joe Burrow. This is a Joe Burrow game. You've got to put it on his shoulders. You got to go down swinging with Joe Burrow as your guy. And if he can't make the plays, then I'm good with that. But I believe fully in Joe Burrow, and I've seen him make the plays, and I believe in Jamar Chase. And those are the guys that you have to trust over field goal kickers and guys that shouldn't even be on the roster, such as Tanner Hudson. This has got to be a game where we're going to those guys, and you got to go down swinging with these guys. This is one of the most important games on this stretch. If you lose this one, the stretch is over. I know that people are saying, hey, you can afford to lose one game. I think the way Miami is playing right now doesn't make that the case. I don't think you can gamble with how Denver is. They've won games that I didn't think that they would win, like the Falcons game. And so with them being on the current campaigns that those teams are on, I just feel like right now Cincinnati controls its own destiny by having to go out and get a win, and it starts here. You got to get this divisional game. You're 0-2 to the Ravens. You beat the Browns. You haven't played the Steelers yet. You've got to go out here and get a win. I think this is the game where the Bengals finally come out here, wake up, get a win, and try to get on to next week. So I'm going to take the Bengals in this one. I think it is a close game, just like the spread indicates. They're talking about the Bengals. I think the spread is 3.5. I think it is a close game. I respect the Steelers. I respect what they're doing. I think these teams both respect each other. I know there's a lot of bad blood from the history, but a lot of those guys on these teams aren't there anymore. So there is no more Vontaze Burfict kind of situation going on there. And so, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game. I'm going to take the Bengals because this is literally their last one. Now, the one thing that I don't like is the Browns just kind of pissed the Steelers off. They kind of got them in this mode where it's like, damn, we just lost on national television and we're trying to get our leg back. And obviously they're going to be playing a pissed off game against the Bengals to try to get back to where they're at. And then you talk about the fact that Baltimore just closed the gap a little bit there. They don't want to lose this game either. So even though I'm sitting here saying, hey, the Bengals want this game bad, so do the Steelers. Like the Steelers want to win the division. They don't want to give up any of that. And then you also have to think about the seeding in the AFC. So both of these teams are going to come out to fight. I think you're going to see a slugfest here. And I'm just hoping that Joe Burrow is able to get the Bengals over in this one. So I'm going to take the Bengals here. I'm going to go 27-24 Bengals in this one. I don't believe in the Bengals defense like that to just be able to completely hold the Steelers under 20. I think that we're going to see more of that Steelers offense that we've seen recently where they're going over 20. But I think the Bengals edge them out in this one.
Yeah, I think that Mike Tomlin's only lost consecutive division games once. I think it's a stat that I saw earlier this week. So historically, he's very good in this situation and bouncing back. But yeah, it's just one of those things where these teams play each other twice. This is the first matchup, and I think that Cincinnati's a bit more desperate right now than Pittsburgh would be going into this week. Not to say the Steelers don't want to win. Obviously, yeah, of course they do. But I just think there's a whole other level for Cincinnati to be like, look, bro, we lose here, we're done. So I think that is a big factor that will come to determining this.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I end up leaning towards Pittsburgh in this one. I think this is going to be a close game. I have issues trusting Cincinnati to win these close games, especially versus teams like Pittsburgh. And to be fair to Pittsburgh, to be fair to Cincinnati, it's not like Pittsburgh's coming off the most impressive a close game performance here versus the Browns, but I do believe that game to have a number of anomalous factors, right? Thursday night on the road against Cleveland, and for whatever reason, Mike Tomlin's record in that game specifically has been atrocious. And he hasn't, I think it's been one time, the 2020 season. Well, no, 2020 season was last time you won in Cleveland.
2021, it was Ben's last year.
He swept us for good. It's fucking Ben. Oh my God. It just pissed me off. I'm sorry. I need 5 seconds. All right, I'm back.
That was funny.
Yeah, but since Ben, they haven't won in Cleveland. It can be an anomalous game here. I think they're going to get kind of back to business here. My only real concern here is that I am picking a team that has Russell Wilson at quarterback over the team that has Joe Burrow and T. Higgins and Jamar. I'm switching it up. I'm sorry, Jared. I'm going Bengals. I gotta go Bengals here.
I gotta apologize to me, mate.
Yeah, I gotta go Bengals here. This is record math, and I got to stand by what I was talking all off season. At some point, dog, it's going to start mattering that that's Russell Wilson. I don't know how much it's going to matter, but it's got to matter versus Joe Burrow, right?
Didn't matter against Lamar.
Yeah, but see, Lamar had one of them games that he be dropping every once in a while, right? Joe don't have one of them games unless he playing Myles Garrett really.
I will say, in this game 2 years ago, beginning of 2022, Joe threw 4 interceptions week 1, and the Steelers still almost found a way to lose because it came down to Minkah Fitzpatrick blocking the extra point and sending the game to overtime for them to win.
That is categorized though under early season Joe Burrow.
Yes, sure, sure.
This is late. You know what I mean? Like late season Joe, he's cooking. There's no way it doesn't matter that Russ is the quarterback for the Steelers, right? Like at some point, Russ and Van Jefferson running routes and throwing the ball. Like at some point, it's gotta matter this week. Like Cincinnati has to put up enough points for that to matter.
I'll say this, like even if the Steelers lose, and I said this before the Washington game, if they lose a game that's like 38-35, like yeah, I'll be pissed that they lost, but I'd be like, God damn, at least they can do that. It's great.
Yeah, like if they keep up, shit might change.
Yeah.
I might be like, hey man, I gotta take them a lot more serious. But
yeah,
I think
I would much rather them lose a game like that than just a game like 23-20 that I've seen them lose a billion times over the last like really my entire life. Like whenever they do lose games, it's usually a game like that where it's just low scoring and they just can't, the defense does its stuff for the most part. The offense just can't quite put. But if they lose like 39-36, I'm like, all right, yeah, I wish they would have won. But they put up 36.
I can't bet against the booty beatdown that got thrown in chat right there. Like that's the deciding factor. My man got real undisciplined and got a penalty with the game still on the line. Like that, you can't do that. Like nah, yeah, I got the.
By the way, there's some like de facto Bengals adjacent news right now went from Tom Pelissaro. The Chargers have placed Eli Apple.
Bring him back.
Did you get that?
Apple.
Oh, I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Yep. You said Eli Apple is on high.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. There we go. All right. So yeah, some Bengals adjacent news.
So this is what I'm thinking of this game.
Bengals legend.
I was leading Steelers, and then the booty beat down definitely threw a wrench in that. I think the Bengals' recipe for this game has to be protect Joe Burrow as it's going to be given, but Joe Burrow is used to playing under duress. Of most quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, I mean, sadly for him, he's just used to being always under constant duress. But they need to start quick. Because I don't know if the Steelers can start as quick as the Bengals when the Bengals are rolling. But if the Bengals offense starts slow, right, it's one of those games that they're just putting field goals, then the Steelers are there hanging. And at that point, I'm thinking the Steelers win the game. So the question here is, can Zach Taylor, and like I said, they have the whole bye. So they should be ready with a great game plan. Can they start quick? Can they find the holes on the Pittsburgh defense? I don't know the crew that is here in this game, meaning the ref crew. But like I said before, Joey Porter is a guy that grabs a lot. And if you match him with Jamar Chase, you can get him in situations that the penalty flags can come out, right? Not that I like to see those type of games, but I'm just saying, in the case of Zach Taylor, you just need to scheme the game to win. You don't care if the game looks pretty or not. You don't care if the viewers at home like the game or not, right? So can the Cincinnati Bengals start quick? That is key. The offense has to carry this, right? I always talk how each team have a stronger side. Well, the Bengals obviously is the offense. So the offense has to come in. They have to put a statement early in this game. They cannot come here flat. If the offense comes flat, completely flat, I'm not saying the Steelers will put points, but if the Bengals come flat and the Steelers offense comes putting points in, I think it's a GG at that point, because the Steelers defense then will clamp down and get motivated for this game because the offense is picking them up. The other way, if the offense starts quick, that might motivate this defense to be not to shut down the Steelers the offense, but the Steelers offense not a juggernaut, right? They had a couple of good weeks out there, right? And then lately they have come down a little bit, right? So that is the question. For me is, how is this Bengals offense start? That will predicate this game, right? If the Steelers, and then how the Steelers react is always fun, because if the Bengals go there 14-0, right? Like let's say boom, boom, back-to-back touchdowns, and the Steelers go on a 1-3 and out. But then the Steelers say, well, we can't run in as much because now we need to react a little bit more. We need to put points. You put pressure. The offense basically has to help the defense, and how you help the defense by scoring points. That puts the Steelers offense in the back, like, okay, now we have to get ourselves out of the game plan. That is how I see this Bengals winning. If the Bengals don't do that, I don't know if they can win this game, right? If they play to the other side, the Steelers type of game that is like, we're going to control, it's going to be a game that is flowy. The defense of the Steelers is balling out. So the Bengals don't put up points, even though the Steelers offense might not put points, but then it will be just a matter of time, because it's only so much your Bengals offense can hold this game, right? Sorry, the Bengals defense can hold this game. Anyway, I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I believe that they are gonna go start quick this game. I believe that Zach Taylor, because the back is on their back, the back is in the against the wall. They're gonna go to the fourth down, so they need to go. They're gonna kick some field goals, Ace, and that's gonna be part. But I do believe that they're not gonna be as passive. This is a game that if you're the Bengals, just is all in. You know, it's all in. There's no tomorrow. Win and you make the playoff. Every week for the Bengals right now is win and you make the playoff. It's the only way you make the playoff. Win to make the playoff. I'm different from Jerry here. I believe if the Bengals lose any game, doesn't matter which game, any game, they're not making the playoffs. They have to go in, all in. I think 10 wins makes a playoffs. And right now, the only way to get 10 wins for the Bengals is sweeping the rest of the year. So starts this week, starts against the Steelers. I think they win by 7, by a touchdown. Late touchdown, fun game. But the Bengals need to start quick to make the Steelers, to put the Steelers in uncomfortable positions. Fan vote here. Steelers 54, Bengals 46. Steelers winning the fan poll. But that is different.
This is a demographic shift.
I think that is also
how much of the vote is reported.
Triple B that was put in there earlier. I think that rectifies it. I think that cements it.
The count.
Right, BBB, and that is weird. That is too weird.
Hey, now we can make the argument that BBB came from the Steelers fans at large. This is the first poll that they might win all season. I mean, hey, they feeling themselves. They searching up. They looking for podcasts, and they found this one and dropped that gem in here. We'll see. Hey, because if the Steelers lose this one, I'll go look forward to that Chisel Dynasty. Right, like ain't nothing better when the Steelers taking a bet. Like, would let the Steelers lose like 4 in a row. Oh yeah, Chisel the Don is gonna come in and act like he about to fire the whole squad, like dressed like Mike Tomlin and everything. I can't wait.
So last game for the AFC North is Eagles Ravens. I know I put a poll earlier and I killed it earlier. This is gonna be a good game, I think. 2 top running backs in the league. Lamar, and Hurts has been doing a little better. Quick note: Roquan did practice today. Devontae.
It's actually big. It's actually a huge deal this week.
Yeah,
right?
Smith has not practiced. The wide receiver for the Eagles with a hand.
Smitty.
Yeah. Look, this game for me. You need to stop Roquan. I'm sorry, not Roquan. Roquan needs to play so he can stop Saquon Barkley. If Barkley is here running, and then the Ravens, to be fair to them, they have not allowed that much rushing by anybody. Nobody has eclipsed 100 against the Ravens. So J.K. Dobbins for a moment there looked good. He got hurt, obviously. But they need to stop Saquon Barkley. When I say stop, they need to say Saquon Barkley rushes for like 80, 85, maybe 90 and less, right? That's what you need to do. Because if Barkley's doing what they did against the Rams, then there's no way. Because now, you know what's going to happen? Your whole defense is going to be here in the box. And then you have Devontae over there. Then you have A.J. Brown. And that's when the Eagles are clicking all cylinders. It might sound simplistic, but the fact that if you can control Saquon Barkley, you can have the Eagles in a 3rd and long situation for the most part. And then the one thing that the Ravens have been doing, although the Eagles is a great O-line, is putting pressure on the quarterback. So pressure where Hurts, not usually good. Hurts is one of those quarterbacks, as I've seen. If he escapes out of the pocket, good. But if he's in the pocket and you apply pressure, he definitely tends to collapse quickly. Not a guy that I've seen that reacts well in the games that I watched for the Eagles against the pressure. But on the other side, the Ravens. This is a Henry game. Henry also, because the Eagles linebacking core and their corners, not the biggest guys, right? So if Henry goes to the second level, this is a game that I can see him rushing a lot. On the other side, passing, look, the corners. We talk about Quinton Mitchell in the draft, right? Best corner coming out. I think we all were agreement there. This guy has been balling out against Jamar Chase. He played well against any corner, any receiver that you have put him in. he has had a good job. Then you on top of that had Cooper DeJean also playing a very strong rookie campaign, both doing great. So in the case of the passing game, we'll see. I think if similar to the Ravens, if Henry's running all over the place, now you're gonna see those players collapsing in the pocket, and then passing yards, big plays can happen. So basically, it's here who flinched first. What running back controls the game first? I think that dictates who's winning this game. I'm gonna go with Baltimore because it's in Baltimore. If it was in Philadelphia, I probably would lean Philadelphia. This game can go either way. It basically really is what running back can establish itself first to make that defense get out of that game plan, then the receivers and tight ends can ball out. I'm gonna go Baltimore. I think it might be a high-scoring game this game. I'm gonna go 33-30 Ravens on a high-scoring game. Jared, what are you thinking?
So this is the best run defense, at least EPA-wise, that the Ravens have faced so far this year. Philadelphia's third in EPA per play against the run. So something to pay attention to there. If it turns into a game where the Ravens need Lamar to throw the ball 30, 35 times, I think that gets them in a little bit of trouble. But on the other end, if Devontae Smith doesn't play for the Eagles, that's a built-in advantage for the Ravens. You only got to really worry about locking down A.J. Brown in the passing game. So that would be big. So depending on what Devontae Smith's status is, that might sway some people. I'm obviously being the Steelers fan here, I'm going to be yelling EAGLES all week. So, maybe something happens. Jalen Hurts gets his foot stepped on and Kenny Pickett comes in and throws a 90-yard touchdown or something to A.J. Brown, really just to...
That would be poetic for you. That would be
really just to send it home. Wouldn't that be great? So I think that Philadelphia has... These are two very similar teams. One like really good receiver.
Now, don't you think Philly is due for? They won 7 in a row, by the way.
Hasn't been that many. Good Lord.
7 in a row. 7 in a row for the Eagles.
I thought it was 5.
Now, let me double check. I might be lying. Let me check.
Either way, yeah, that is crazy.
It's impressive.
5-win streak, though. I mean, don't let them play the Browns again.
That was the last loss.
Yeah. The Browns?
No, they beat the Browns.
They didn't lose the Browns. They beat
Oh, 7 in a row. The last loss was against the Buccaneers, September 29th.
Oh, yeah, that was like week 4 or something.
And there's been an update from Tom Pelissero. Devonta Smith, once again, not practicing today.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? I might have just swayed myself. I'm going to be rooting for the Eagles, but I think Baltimore's probably going to win. Baltimore also, like, I've said this all year about the Eagles, but like they just feel like they're one Jenga block away from collapsing. And I think like one loss, Sirianni's going to say something stupid. He's going to like punch a fan, and I was going to be like, oh yeah, that's it. He finally did it. I just think the Ravens are a more buttoned up organization in terms of how they handle themselves. At least to Harbaugh versus Sirianni. Like I know which one I'm taking. And in a situation like this, I kind of lean toward, all right, what head coach am I taking? What quarterback would I take? I would take Harbaugh over Sirianni, and I would take Lamar over Jalen Hurts. But then again, like I said, if the Eagles shut down Derrick Henry to an extent, and it becomes a situation where Lamar has to throw the ball 30, 35 times, then I think that's advantage Philadelphia, because the Ravens want to keep you guessing. They want to run the ball a ton. They don't want to become a team that has to throw the ball a ton in any game. So I think that Baltimore will win, but I think there is a situation where if the Eagles just really clamp down and say, you're not running the ball against us, good luck, beat us, then that could be something that works out pretty well for them. And Jalen Hurts obviously is a solid quarterback. Saquon's having an incredible year. He's just coming off a 255 performance against the Rams. So yeah, it's going to be a fun game. I think either way, it'll be competitive. Is this a Fox game or is this a CBS game?
It should be CBS. I'm hoping it's CBS.
Is this a Nance Roma or is this Burkhart Brady?
I don't know. It doesn't say here. It's at 1:00, but I'm not sure.
Oh, it might be Ian Eagle and Charles Davis.
I love Ian Eagle.
Ian Eagle's great. Yeah, I might actually look this up just because I'm curious on who it would be. But yeah, I'm going to pick Baltimore to win. Obviously, that's not who I want to win, but it's I believe in them as a more put together unit than I believe in Philadelphia.
Ace.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this, I kind of felt Baltimore. You got to talk about Lamar Jackson's streak against the NFC. He's completely dominated those guys. However, looking at this game, it is going to be a close one. You talk about 2 top 5 teams in terms of DVOA. You talk about 2 top teams in terms of EPA. Baltimore Ravens 3rd, Philadelphia Eagles on the road 6th. One of the things that pop out to me, though, that pass defense in Baltimore at home has not been good, 31st in the league. Philadelphia on the road 3rd. So Philadelphia might be the best pass defense that Baltimore has faced this season. And then you talk about the rushing offense. Both of these teams can run the ball. Philadelphia is 1st. Baltimore is 4th. So obviously they kind of have the same thing going on. They have 2 really good running backs, and then they have 2 really good mobile quarterbacks. So who's going to kind of win there and edge each other out, which kind of like Jared said earlier, these teams kind of somewhat mirror each other. And then you talk about the run defense. Both are good. You know, seeing Jalen Carter going up against Derrick Henry, that's going to be entertaining to see. It's going to be entertaining to see Saquon, who's been, by all accounts, the best, the MVP non-quarterback, has been Saquon Barkley, I think, this season. But you also talk about Baltimore having the 1st defense in the league when it comes to that. Both of these teams in total offense, they're top 4. Baltimore is 2nd. Philadelphia is 4th. Total defense, though, Philadelphia is edging them out on that right now. 3rd. Baltimore is still good. They're 12th. But the biggest defense, I think, comes in the red zone. The biggest difference comes in the red zone. Looks like the red zone defense for Philadelphia is 6th. Baltimore is 21st. So they are giving up points in the red zone when it comes to that. That also mirrors the scoring defense. Baltimore is 21st. Talk about the Eagles being 6th. When I'm looking at this in a vacuum, everything tells me to pick the Ravens. It's in Baltimore. There's all of these things going. I just still cannot believe that this Ravens defense is as good as I think that people might think that they are with the bounce backs. You kind of mentioned the Devonta Smith not playing thing. I think that that's a huge factor. However, I thought that that would be a factor as well when the Bengals played them, with the Ravens only being able to key in on Jamar Chase. And again, with T. Higgins wasn't playing, and T. Higgins or Jamar Chase went off in that game. I think A.J. Brown has potential to do the same. I'm just not a believer in the Baltimore secondary yet. I might be wrong, but this is me putting my chips all in on saying I'm still not sold on the Baltimore defense. And I think because of that, I think the Eagles are going to be able to win this game, because I still can't believe in the Baltimore defense just yet. Now, if they prove me wrong and they stop probably the best offense that they've seen since the Bengals, which in the Bengals game, they won the game, but they didn't stop the offense. If they literally stop this Eagles defense, or this Eagles offense, then I will say, okay, this Baltimore defense is for real. But until I see it, I'm not a believer in it just yet. I completely believe in Lamar Jackson and that offense. I know that they're going to score points, right? But I don't know if they're going to be able to stop Saquon Barkley in this attack that the Philadelphia Eagles have. Now, the interesting thing is, can Saquon Barkley be a factor in this game from a running standpoint? I think he's definitely going to be a factor from catching the ball out of the backfield and stuff like that. But from a running standpoint, because when the Bengals played him, we were able to stop him early on, and it wasn't until kind of the end of the game where he kind of got that long run at the end. Then the next thing you knew, Saquon had 100-plus yards. That's going to be interesting, because I think Baltimore has a better run defense than Cincinnati. So if they're able to bottle him up, that is their path to victory. If you're able to bottle up Saquon, and like Sonny said, you're able to get pressure on Jalen Hurts, that's how you mess him up. Issue with the Bengals is we couldn't get anything on Jalen Hurts. So that's going to be a big factor in this one as well, outside of just Baltimore's defense. Can they get to Jalen Hurts? Because the Philadelphia Eagles do have a really good offensive line. They have guys that can match up with each other. We're talking about Landon Dickerson taking on Justin Matabuke. We're talking about Owe going against Malataya. We're talking about Becton and some of these guys that are going to be matched up. Kyle Van Noy versus Lane Johnson. So it's a really good offensive line. But if Baltimore does win this game, it's because they've been able to stop Saquon, and they've been able to get to Hurts and rattle him and cause some of those errant passes. Because if you don't do that with this team, then you get the explosive Eagles offense that we've seen this season. So the only reason I really feel like I was leaning more towards Baltimore, but I'm like, I got to put my all chips in against, I don't believe the Ravens secondary is going to stop this team from scoring 30 plus points. So I'm going to barely take Philadelphia in this one over the Ravens.
Hugh, before you go.
It is Nance and Romo on the call, by the way, just in
Okay.
case anybody's wondering.
Gee, Jim.
Before Q goes here, Slay is in concussion protocol, the corner.
Probably a good thing for them because Slay has been pretty
Pierce, big ass Pierce.
Quingon healthy still, right?
Yeah, he's
Quingon and Ku plus clamps. You don't sleep on.
Stop! Wow! What? No.
Hey, he's nice with it. He's nice.
We ain't got to do Coop like that. That's a crazy
hey, Coop, I'm saying that respectfully. Like, he's really that guy. He's that guy. Jokes aside, he's that guy. I just love the nickname.
The other guy might be coming back in this game is Michael Pierce. He hasn't played 4 games. He might be back. So for pass defense, and then the other wrinkle that I forgot to add is Saquon has been really good on the rushing side, right? Obviously, but in the passing side, who's picking up Saquon? That'll be huge because he's also deadly in the open field in the passing game.
Bro, if I was the Eagles, I'm running Texas routes, choice routes to Saquon.
Oh yeah, you get Roquan out there in coverage, like if you could get it, or Malik Harrison.
No, if Roquan's back, I'm hoping they put more Trent Simpson because he at least.
Well, I'm saying like if Roquan's not back, then it's going to be Malik that you could get them routes off.
Yeah, I was gonna say like if I'm Kellen Moore, I'm drawing a fat red X on Malik Harrison and I'm throwing it there every play. That's our target, boys. We're running at him.
Malik Harrison gonna be in practice just shuffling the whole game. Whole week, just left, right. Fake, act like you got beat on play action. Come back, like this. Like he gonna be out there running combine drills.
He's gonna be doing a 3-cone on Friday.
Just get the football.
Okay, that being said, Q, who you have, man? I don't even want to think about that.
Man. It's hard to go against Baltimore here, especially how well they played against what I think is a good Chargers team on Monday Night Football. And then like the Eagles, I know they've been good, but they don't feel serious to me yet. Like I don't know.
It's the coach.
Nah, because like I'm not as bothered by him as other people are. Like I've growing up in Cleveland, you just run into people who are just jerks like that. Like it's a very angry city. I'm like, I know a dude like that. Like the whole like chip on my shoulder, angry dude thing. That don't bother me as much as like it bothers a lot of people. Like I don't think it's Nick. I just think there's something about this Eagles team where I'm just like waiting for it to happen. Right? Like it's like. It's just too much has been going well for them for a franchise that has not been operating harmoniously for like the last couple of years since they made the Super Bowl. I don't know with Nick Sirianni how much he's going to be able to affect the game. I think the question is going to be which Lamar Jackson are you going to get in this game, right? Are we going to get Lamar Jackson, oh my God, third MVP? Like game from him, or are we gonna get one of them Lamar Jackson games where every single one of his doubters point to and go see like it because he's been giving both of those performances in the last 4 weeks. I tend to think also I think this running back battle is incredible because like if you think about it, both these dudes were playing running back while I was in college, which is crazy to think that the longevity is there for both of these guys. I tend to lean towards thinking that Baltimore is the more adult team. Like I kind of agree with Jared there that I think they're more adult. They're probably going to get this done in the ways that you would expect it to. But Philly's the hotter team right now. Baltimore has some questions on defense. It's been like that all year with them. I know Hump's been playing really well, but I'm truly torn on this one. Cooper DeJean's been playing really good. Baltimore doesn't have a lot of wide receivers. They also have good safeties in Philly, but Philly just lost Brandon Graham for the season, right? Like they don't really have that much edge depth outside of that. I'm gonna go Baltimore here. I'm gonna make Sonny mad. I'm gonna put this on big ass filet pulling guard. Right? Hey, they figured something out with that because when that man is pulling, he hits something. I like, hey,
that's a sumo wrestler, right?
Yeah, they figured it out because, like, hey, look, I watched that man at the Senior Bowl get pieced up by Majay Sanders, and I thought to myself, hell no, I would never draft him to play tackle. But who would have thought? They were like, hey, let's put his head in the dirt and make him pull, and like they figured it out. And I think they might have something there with Filet pulling him, especially when you have Derek. Like, imagine like trying to get off a Filet pull, and then like your reward is okay, go try to tackle Derek Henry. It's a lot there. Philly, one of the areas where they have not drafted as well as corner or interior is at linebacker, so they could get thinned out there by Derrick Henry. To beat Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, you really got to have strong linebacker play, and I just don't see that on Philly's team. I don't think they have the athletic, strong enough linebackers to be able to keep pace and do that whole thing and also be able to get downhill on Derrick Henry. We saw what good small linebackers does against Derrick Henry. It is not effective. So, yeah, I think Baltimore's got this one. I think they'll win this. I just don't have enough faith in Jalen Hurts if all things are equal between running backs, defenses, and everything else for him to outperform Lamar Jackson in a game like this, especially without potentially having one of his best receivers. If I'm wrong, I'll be glad. But, yeah, I think that this going to go Baltimore's way. And do you think this is a preview of the Super Bowl? Like, do you think this could be a preview of the Super Bowl?
It's a heavyweight matchup. Yeah, for sure.
It is a heavyweight matchup. It could be.
Jared's got the Lions going, right?
Yeah, I think the Lions. It's going to be the Lions, and I said Bills Packers coming into the year. So I mean, I think it's still possible Green Bay could, but I think the Lions.
I will say this: it is fascinating to watch Nick Sirianni get all the hate in the world, and then like Dan Campbell, everybody's just like, "Oh man, we love Dan Campbell." I'm like, those are two dudes from different universes. Like that's the same guy. It's just like one, has gone through some times where he's had to lash out and cuss out people. Like that's what Philly does to you, and the other one, hey man, Detroit just happy to be good. So like he ain't dealing with none of that. But I'm like, these are essentially like similar philosophies here, right? Like both kind of equally unserious personalities if you evaluate them on normal standards. But yeah, I back to this game. Yeah, this is something I don't trust about Philly this year. Right. I don't know what it is, but it's just something there. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but it's not the strongest reason to pick Baltimore, but I'm going to stick with it.
By the way, so for the whole take of the Lions are like 2 losses away for being like the 5th or 6th seed, which is kind of crazy. So
is the NFC that tight this year?
NFC is just
because of their it's more their division, right?
That's true. Yeah.
The Phillies bottom is the 2nd seed, but if you think about it in the Lions, and I know I'm taking a little detour here, the Lions are 10-1, the Vikings are 9-2, the Packers are 8-3.
The Vikings are fucking 9-2.
Yeah, their division is
Who is gonna pay? Are the Jets gonna pay Sam Darnold like $30 million to play quarterback? Well, no, because he played for the Jets, right? Like,
no, that feels like a Raiders move to me.
Nah, but the Raiders seem to be like the Raiders. The Raiders gonna go and like hire Dion and get Shador. Maybe for sure. That's hey, look, I'll just point this out with the Raiders, Jared. I believe Mark Davis to be one of the most scammable billionaires of all time because look at who he's hired. All the scams. All the scams. He was a part of Hugh Jackson. He was a part of what was the one dude? John Gruden and Mike Mayock, and then moved off that scam and hired the biggest scam, Josh McDaniels.
It's one scam. It's a con man getting hired by a scam artist. Basically,
it fell for the biggest scam in football. The man hired the interim coach. Why would you ever do that? You don't ever hire the interim coach. So if there's somebody that Dion could get in the elevator with and talk him into, man, you should just let me run it. It's Mark.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
His name is Mark.
And guess what? He's gonna hire Pat Shurmur as his offensive coordinator and Rex Ryan as his defensive coordinator. Good luck, Vegas.
Anybody he see on TV, like,
Yeah.
let him watch this podcast. Sonny gonna have a job with the Raiders.
Brady Quinn will be his quarterback's coach.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. Well, he gonna hire one dude. And what's the guy? Aaron Murray.
Aaron Murray, yeah.
Offensive coordinator. Like, whatever he's watching on TV at the time.
Matt Leinart would be quality control.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think Mike Vrabel was on the Eli and Peyton show during Monday Night Football? He like, I got to get in front of Mark Davis. This is the only way you get in front of him.
The 188 here says close game, but ultimately the Steelers are the better, more balanced team. That the Bengals, Pittsburgh wins. Also, Denver wins and Eagles win as well.
So he's telling me he's co-signing. Here we go, Pitt. Got it. Lock it in.
Yeah, here we go. And for those of you that weren't here before, that's what happened earlier in this pod. But it beat down for
We're all witnesses.
I would just like to add that my gut feelings this year have been mostly correct. So I've just got one of those feelings that Steelers probably just drop this one, but then they'll rebound and get a win back against Cleveland, even the Steven series, and then go from there.
Let me tell you, all this studying I do has been worthless this year, dog. Like that, my brain has not been correct, but my gut has been like, yeah, man. What if Jameis just says fuck it? Like, yeah, that's been a correct prediction. Like, so this has been a year of anti-intelligence, and I hate it. But yeah, I think Jared's right on the vibes here. Like the vibes might just be right.
Sometimes the vibes just take over and the analysis part of it kind of goes out the window. I think this is kind of just
shit. We got
especially
vibes.
in this division. Yeah, especially in this division.
By the way, Fanbo, Ravens 56, Eagles 44. We're gonna leave with this, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. We started with that. We're gonna finish with that. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Enjoy your time with yourself, your family, with whoever you are. Enjoy your time. Give thanks, because it can always be worse. Take it easy, my guys. Peace out.
Peace.
So